Hello everybody, welcome back. Looking to break down UFC Vegas 52, make some money this weekend. Last weekend I did okay, 8-6, but I was profitable because I put the right amount of money on the right guys, on the right dogs. And some of them I got wrong. A lot of matches I really didn't have, the people I haven't heard of. Fighters making their debut. But the big one, Bilal Muhammad plus 150, I hit that one. Relatively smooth fight for him. The main event, or sorry, co-main event, got that one wrong. You know, whatever. Big mistake on my part. But Andre Fialho hit him plus 160. A little bit worried there at the beginning, but he got it done. That was a big one for me. And let's see, Munir Lazez and Angelusa, that was a toss-up. And I was on the wrong side of that one, unfortunately. It is what it is. And William Knight and Devin Clark. Yeah, man, William Knight couldn't get it done, but Devin Clark looked awesome. So I'll know for next time. And then one of the bigger ones was Rafa Garcia against Jesse Ronson. He was like plus 150, something like that. And he got it done, relatively easy victory for him. So, you know, working with the dogs, it paid off. And some of them I lost on, but sometimes you got to take that shot. And that's what I'm going to try to do more often, try to find those dogs. Anyway, here to break down UFC Vegas 52. Amanda Lemos taking on Jessica Andrade. Should be a fun one. Not the best main event, but strawweight at women's division is getting very interesting. So I'm excited to see how the division shakes out. Then the co-main, you got Clay, the Carpenter Guida taking on Claudio Puelles. That should be a big spot for both guys. And then you got Macy Barber making her return. And then you got Lando Vannata taking on Charles Jourdain. Fight of the night right there. And should be a fun one. Unfortunately, my cop fell off, but we'll make do. Okay, first fight of the night at 170 pounds. You got Dean Barry making his debut against Mike Jackson. Yes, the Mike Jackson that fought CM Punk. And hasn't fought in about 4 years. And I didn't feel like even wasting my time on this tape. Mike Jackson plus 700. Dean Barry minus 1125. I don't care. I'm not wasting my time with this. Sorry, Mike Jackson's not a real fighter. I'm going to go with Dean Barry. If he loses, I'll eat a huge bullet. Not literally, but I'll feel like shit. But anyway, Dean Barry, over 1.5, minus 105. Safe bet there. Second fight of the night, 205, men's light heavyweight. You got Marcin Prachnio taking on Felipe Lins. Felipe Lins coming off long time layoff. Maybe, I think it's like somewhere around 2 years, something like that. Marcin Prachnio took on Villanueva his last fight. And the first round, I noticed he gets pressed and he eats some hooks against the cage, but he lands a spinning back head kick. You know, can pull those things out sometimes. Then he lands 1-2s whenever he gets pressed forward by Ike. And then he starts pumping his leg kicks. You can tell Ike slows down a little bit. And then, but his kick gets caught, and he eats a straight right and some ground and pound to end the round. Not a good look for him, but he comes back in a big way in the second round. Lands a body kick at range, gets the knockout, drops him. Anytime you can knock somebody out the body kick, it's impressive. So, got to look at him. And then Felipe Lins took on Tanner Boser his last fight. In the first round, he presses a 1-2 to the body, but he walks into overhand right from Tanner. Then he just eats a flurry and gets TKO'd. So, and that fight was at heavyweight, so they're dropping down to 205. Red flag for me. Also, Felipe Lins plus 100, Marcin Prachnio minus 120. Easy money, Marcin Prachnio. Line's basically even. I think he's the better fighter. Ike Villanueva hits hard. He was able to stay in the pocket with him. Felipe Lins dropping down to 205. My pick here is Marcin Prachnio. Third fight of the night at 170 pounds, men's welterweight. You got Preston Parsons taking on Evan Elder. Preston Parsons took on Daniel Rodriguez his last fight. Rodriguez, dark horse at 170 whenever he comes back. In the first round, he lands a head kick and a 1-2 whenever he gets pressed, and he shoots a single to the fence. Can't complete it, but good to establish that control. And then he shoots a double in the pocket, but he gets stuffed by Rodriguez. But he lands some 1-2s when they're going back and forth in the pocket, but he eats a left hook off of his jab. But then he presses forward, starts landing some jabs on Rodriguez, but then he gets hurt with the counter left hook, and he eats a straight left against the cage, and then he eats some hooks in the pocket and just gets TKO'd. Decided to fight in the pocket with Rodriguez. Not a great idea. But, you know, he took the fight on short notice, and I think Rodriguez is pretty good. Underrated, in my opinion. And then Evan Elder took on Marcus Andrewza his last fight. This was outside of the UFC. Elder's making his debut. In the first round, he lands some leg kicks at range, lands a step in, 1-2, and then he presses forward, but he gets blast doubled from range, but then later gets back to his feet, he's able to stuff a shot and lands an overhand right, and then a body kick, and then he lands a lunge straight right, and then he gets the clinch trip off of the fence, gets a takedown there at the end of the round. Then in the second round, he's able to crowd the kicks, and he lands a flurry and then a head kick, stands back at range, lands a head kick, and then he gets back, and then he feints a jab, and he's able to hit a blast double, and then he's able to complete takedown, get into side control for the remainder of the round. Good control there. I liked how he feinted and was able to do that, so he has some sort of setup for it. Then in the third round, he presses on the inside, and then they get into a little scrap. He gets a little collar tie, literally just pushes him down. Marcus kind of falls over, and then he just lands some ground and pound, and gets the TKO, and that's that. And he was slowly building through the whole fight, and was able to get to work to the finish in the third round, which I like to see. Elder plus 120, Parsons minus 120. Pretty even line here, honestly. I don't know, man. It's a toss-up. You know, Parsons fought a good guy on short notice. Elder fighting outside the UFC, but he got the finish. I'm just going to go with Elder here. A little bit of plus money here. Line will probably change by the time the fight goes on. Probably close to even money, but I like what I saw out of Elder. My pick here is Evan Elder. Next up on the prelims at 135 pounds, men's bantamweight, we got AORI Alatang, I hope that's how I say his name, I'm sorry, versus Cameron Elsey. Alatang took on Jeff Molina. Not his last fight. His last fight was against Cody Durden. Cody Durden's heavy wrestler. Elsey isn't, so I thought this would be more relevant. I took on Jeff Molina 2 fights ago. In the first round, he pressures to the fence. He looks to land some hooks on the inside, and he looks for some overhands. Can't quite get them. Gets some, they kind of slip off. Then he lands a jab to the clinch against the fence. Then he lands a left hook whenever they break. Then he lands an uppercut, and then shoots, and then is able to get the single leg takedown off the fence. So nice way to end the first round. Then in the second round, he lands a short left hook, and he hits a duck under. He's able to take the back, but he can't hold him down. Molina is really good at popping right back up. Then he lands a straight right in the pocket, then a right cross back in space, and then he keeps pressing forward, but he gets dropped with the right cross inside the pocket. But he's able to take ground and keep Molina going towards the fence, and he lands some body shots when they get into a firefight. But then he gets dropped with a straight right at the end of the round. Bad ring IQ in my opinion. Unfortunately, and then in the third round he presses with some straight shots, and he's able to get the double leg takedown, but he can't hold him again. Then he eats some jabs and hooks whenever he's pressing forward, and he eats a jab and some overhands in the pocket. Again, a little firefight, but he's able to rock him with the left hook at the end of the round. But that was it. Molina was really boxing him, piecing him up there, just kind of keeping at range. And Alatang had limited head movement. And then Cameron Elsey took on Kyler Phillips his last fight. In the first round, he presses forward some overhands and hooks, but Phillips is able to block most of them, if not all of them. Then he tries to counter the overhand off of. He tries to land a counter overhand off of Kyler's kick, but he's not able to quite land it. And then he just walks into a double leg, gets taken down immediately, and then he gives up his back, and then he rolls over. On his back, but he eats some heavy ground and pound in that first round. Then in the second round, he eats a head kick and gets clinched and taken down with a body lock, and he gives up his back, eats some ground and pound, and just gets TKO'd. So, unfortunate for him, but we know how good Kyler Phillips is. This is over a year ago, though. So, but Cameron Elsey, plus 195, AORI Alatang, minus 240, and I don't like the line here. And the props, I'm not really too sure about them. Alatang might be able to get a knockout. I think I might go the distance. It's going to be, I just don't see anything out of Elsey. Not a whole lot of footage from him. And I know Alatang can crack. He gets hit a little too much, but I think he could definitely win 2 of these rounds. The line sucks, but it is what it is sometimes. My pick here is AORI Alatang. Alright, on to the feature fight of the prelims at 205 pounds, men's light heavyweight. You got Tyson Pedro making his long-awaited return after 4 years off, taking on Ike Hurricane Villanueva. Pedro took on Mauricio Shogun Rua his last fight in 2018. In the first round, he lands a 1-2 and then a flurry, and he circles out, steps in, lands a 1-2, but he eats a counter hook from Shogun, but then he lands some hooks and uppercut when they get into a firefight, and he's able to rock Shogun for a minute. But then he lands some knees to the body in the plum tie. So really strong first round from Pedro there. But then in the second round, you can tell he kind of falls off cardio-wise. He eats overhand right standing at range, then he gets clinched to the fence, but he has a whizzer, so it keeps him up. But then he gives his back and gets dragged down and gets put in side control. And he attempts to sweep Kimura, doesn't get it. Wasted energy, in my opinion, and just gets ridden out for the rest of the second round. Then in the third round, he lands a jab, but he gets dropped with the overhand right, and then Shogun swarms him and TKOs him. So, looked really good at the beginning. Unfortunate ending. Ike Villanueva took on Nikolai Negumereanu, his last fight. In the first round, he presses with 1-2, but then he gets pressed to the fence. He swings some hooks, but he eats a straight right. He backs up, lands some hooks and an uppercut, but he gets dropped with a short straight and just gets TKO'd. Nikolai swarms him, and Nikolai has a hell of a chin, so can't really put too much stock into that one. Before that, he took on PRACHNIO. In the first round, he rocks him with some wide hooks. He presses forward, but eats a 1-2, and he walks into a right hook from PRACHNIO. Then he eats some leg kicks at range, and he catches the kick, but he lands a straight right and some ground and pound. The first round, second round, and then he just gets KO'd almost immediately with a body kick. So Villanueva usually has strong first rounds. He'll take a lot of shots, but he can also give a lot of shots. He's pretty tough. Villanueva plus 460, Pedro minus 650. Yeah, dude. I'm not very confident Villanueva, but plus 460 on a guy that is coming off a 4-year-long layoff, and that last fight he got knocked out by Shogun Rua. My pick here is Hurricane Ike Villanueva. Don't care, roll the dice. Hopefully it goes in our favor. Co-main event of the prelims are 170 pounds. You got Dwight Grant taking on Sergey KHANDOZHKO. Dwight Grant took on Francisco Trinaldo his last fight. In the first round, he pumps the jab from range, and then he backs up, just kind of in and out. Then he's able to land a straight right. His hook gets countered with straight left, though, but his jab gets countered with the hook. So they're kind of starting to figure him out, and Trinaldo was able to time his jab there. Then in the second round, he gets pressed and eats a straight left, but he's able to drop Trinaldo with the right hook whenever he gets pressed. So that's good. And always dangerous, going to keep guys off of him. But then he gives his back on the feet, gives his back standing against the fence. Still had a good second round. Third round, he gets pressed and taken down with a body lock off the fence and gives up half guard. And then he gives up full mount at one point and gets ridden out. Decent performance from him. Dropping Trinaldo is always good, but can't hold it together for the fight, for the remainder of the fight. And he has one shot knockdown power at least. And then Sergey took on Rustam Kabalov, but this was in October 2019, I believe, so long way for him as well. In the first round, he lands some leg kicks at range, but eats a straight right against the fence, but he's able to defend the double leg attempt, and then he's able to throw the 1-2, but he gets shot to the fence and gets held there for the majority of the round. Then in the second round, he throws a 1-2 and he gets pressed to the fence with a single, but he's able to defend a lot, like for a while, like over a minute. Then he eventually gets taken down with it, and he gives up his back to end the round. Then in the third round, he lands a short right whenever he gets pressed, but then he gets taken down with the single again. But he's able to work up to the fence, and he's able to stand up, and then back on the feet, and then he just kind of walks right into a low single. So not the best ring IQ from him, and not able to make adjustments as well as you would hope. Sergey minus 120, Dwight Grant plus 100. This is a tough one here. I don't know, dude. I mean, Sergey, Russian, but not the best wrestling. And Dwight Grant can crack, man. And Sergey coming off over a 2-year-long layoff. The line's very close. My picker is Dwight Grant plus 100. I think that's the move. On to the main event of the prelims. Catch weight of 190 pounds. Both guys typically fight at 185 middleweight. But Marc-Andre Barriault coming in on short notice. As for catch weight, reasonable. Got Jordan Wright taking on Marc-Andre Barriault. Jordan, Beverly Hills Ninja Wright, love that nickname. He took on Bruno Silva his last fight. Quick one, most of his fights are. In the first round, he lands some body kicks at range and lands a head kick, but he presses with a straight blitz, but he eats some counter hooks while he's blitzing, and he's able to get the plum tie, land some knees, but then he gets KO'd with the hook on the break and knocked down, then needs some ground and pound, basically out. Ground and pound for good measure. Tough one for him, but just a little too wild, but he comes out fast and furious in the first, and he's like first round or bust in my opinion. Then Marc-Andre Barriault took on Cheetah and Juquan his last fight. Literally gets knocked out with the 1-2 right away. Okay. Before that, he took on Dolce Longiambola. Went 3 rounds, but I'm just going to look at the first round because I seriously believe this fight is only going to happen in the first round, maybe a little bit in the second round, but it's going to be a first round war in my opinion. First round, he presses with the jab, lands a 1-2 against the fence. He gets pressed with hooks, but he's able to cover up, block most of the shots. Then he gets taken out with the double, and then gets shot against the fence with a double, and then gets taken out with the hip toss. He gets back on his feet, but he rushes in, then gets doubled again, and didn't really impress me in the first round, so, don't really got to worry about wrestling this fight, but, at least he can make it past the first round. But Marc-Andre Barriault, minus 180, Jordan Wright, plus 155. BARRIAULT didn't really impress me. Jordan Wright, not that good, but he can get it done. He knocked out Jimmy Pickett. You know, I don't know. My pick here is Jordan Wright. I like it. And then other bet, under 1.5, plus 115. I think that's nuts that it's plus money. Take that all day long. Under 1.5, plus 115. Jordan Wright, plus 155. That's the bet. Okay. First fight on the main card, 145 pounds, featherweight. You got Lando Groovy VANNATA taking on Charles Air Jourdain. Hopefully this is the fight of the night. I think this is going to be an amazing fight. Lando VANNATA took on, what's his name? Fucking, I forget. But anyway, before his fight, he took on Bobby Green. In the first round, he eats some jabs at range. Then he's able to slip the jabs, lands a hook on the inside, but then he backs out. Then he rocks him with the right hook on the inside, and then he walks into a straight right, but then he gets dropped right at the end of the first round. A tough one for him. Then in the second round, he gets a clinch from the inside. Then he lands some hooks on the break, lands a head kick in the pocket, presses with some hooks, and then he pulls guillotine. Bad ring IQ. Don't know why you do that. Bobby Green's a decent wrestler. But then gets back to the feet. Then he's able to get a body lock takedown from inside the pocket. Then in the third round, he lands the right hook off of Bobby's jab. Then he gets dropped with the elbow from the plum tie while he's ripping into the body and just kind of does too much of the body shots. And then Bobby Green gets some ground and pound, and he eats some ground and pound, gets taken down from there, and you know, just not the best game plan, but it's do or die. But he just kind of likes to scrap it out a little bit. So, and yeah, and you know, just rip into the body, and then the elbow comes over the top and doesn't really notice it. So, not the best ring IQ. Then Charles Air Jourdain took on Andre Ewell his last fight. In the first round, he presses with the hook and a leg kick. Then he presses with the overhand, and he gets inside, but he eats a 1-2 at range. But then he lands a straight left and a head kick at range, and he misses his jump knee, and Ewell's able to get the takedown from there. But end of the round, but you know, got to control himself a little bit because he has a great second and third round. Then in the second round, he lands a left hook at range. Then he lands a bunch of leg kicks, really starts turning it up in this round. Then he lands a head kick at range. He's able to catch the kick, land a straight left, and then he lands a hook to a clinch, and then he lands some hooks on the inside from there. Then he lands a hook flurry, and then he drops him, and he lands some heavy ground and pound. So, and you know, builds as the fight goes on. I guess call him a slow starter, but you know, really he's working on Andre Ewell here. And then in the third round, he eats more straight shots on the fence, but he walks into a front kick. Then he lands a clinch to the fence, and he lands some body hooks and knees. Some hooks to the body and then the head, excuse me. And then he's able to knock him down with the front kick right at the end of the round. Just put a stamp on it. Just kick to the chest. And it looked like he finished him, but he didn't. But that's the kind of guy Charles Jourdain is, and that's what you're going to get for your dollar there. Okay, both guys, minus 110. Even money. I don't think either guy's going to finish. So I like, you know, I can't really think of any props on this one. But it's a pick 'em, and both guys are very dangerous. I get that. And Charles Jourdain, like I said, both guys are kind of a little sloppy, to be honest. But I got a feeling about Charles Jourdain, man. I know Andre Ewell isn't the greatest competition in the world, but putting a stamp on it, I really like that. And then, sorry, really quick, Lando VANNATA, his last fight, he took on Mike Grundy. I'm sorry, I got him confused with Marco Madsen. I know it wasn't him. Tough wrestler, but Lando VANNATA was able to stuff a lot of the takedowns and just pick him apart with some hooks and stay on the outside. So, but, you know, not much wrestling going to be going on this fight anyway. But, again, toss up, flip a coin. My pick here is Charles Jourdain. Don't know why, couldn't tell you. I think he's going to get it done, man. I think Lando VANNATA might take the first round. I think Jourdain's going to step it up. Land those leg kicks. They're going to get to a couple gunfights maybe. I think Jourdain might be able to win those, but who knows? Can't be surprised either way. My pick here is Charles Jourdain, though. All right. On to the second fight of the main card at heavyweight, 265 pounds. You got Alexander King Kong Romanov taking on Chase Sherman. Chase Sherman literally just got cut. They brought him back for this fight. So what does that tell you? Last minute replacement. And should be a massacre, but we'll see. Romanov took on Juan Espina his last fight, controversial ending. In the first round, he pressures him to the fence. He's able to get the clinch trip, and he's able to take his back. And then Espina works his way up, but he's able to keep a hold of the clinch against the fence. but then he gets taken down with a hip toss and a back trip. I'm just getting a little lazy in the clinch, to be honest, because nobody's ever done this to him before. You know, I just kind of gets taken down, but, you know, I thought he did enough to win the first round. Then in the second round, he eats a straight right, but he's able to clinch, but he's not able to hold Espino there. Then he lands a blitz of hooks, and then he gets the clinch, and he's able to get the single leg takedown, get full guard, lands some ground and pound. Then he's able to get around Espino's back. Then back to the feet. His clinch gets reversed, but he's able to land a blitz, and then he's able to get a single leg against the fence. Can't really finish it though, but holds him. Another close one. I guess you could give it to Romanov. Then in the third round, he gets a single to the fence, but he gets taken down with a body lock from Espino, and then Espino knees him in the nuts, and Romanov can't continue, so they got a majority decision, and Romanov wins. Pretty dicey, but got it done. But I thought Espino was definitely coming on, and the third round would have been interesting. Romanov isn't invincible, but Chase Sherman is no Juan Espino. Chase Sherman took on Jake Collier his last fight. In the first round, he gets pressed, eats a straight right and some hooks on the inside. But then he lands able to land a counter uppercut, but his kick gets caught and he gets pushed down. Then he gives up full mount, eats some ground and pound, and then he gives his back up and gets submitted with a rear naked choke. Doesn't put up much of a fight. Sorry, it's the weather, man. Yeah, doesn't put up much of a fight, and you know, kind of knew he was beaten. Just gets out of there in the first round. And Chase Sherman's been on a losing streak, and his performances have gotten a little worse over time, in my opinion. Chase Sherman plus 800, Romanov minus 1375. The under isn't really worth it. I don't think so. This is just one to throw on the parlay. My pick here is Alexander Romanov, no question there. If Chase Sherman wins, I'm dumb, but my pick here is Alexander Romanov. On to the feature fight of the main card, women's flyweight, 125, sorry. Macy Barber taking on Montana De La Rosa. Should be a fun one. Macy Barber squeaked one out against Miranda Maverick, so we'll see if she can bounce back and continue on her upward trajectory. And big spot for La Rosa. She'll get some hype if she beats Barber. Barber took on Miranda Maverick her last fight. Great fight. Thought she got robbed. Just throwing it out there. Nah, she got robbed, but she did good in the third round. First round, she circles in and out, but she's not able to find the range. She gets pressed with some short hooks and eats a head kick, but then she lands a straight right whenever she gets pressed. And then she gets pressed and eats some body kicks. And then in the second round, she comes forward, gets blitzed by Maverick. She gets clenched to the fence, eats some knees to the body. She tries to hip toss, but Miranda's able to keep the whizzer. Good attempt, but Miranda's able to defend. But she's able to keep the clincher on the back against the cage. But then she lands a step-in 1-2, but she gets overextended. And sorry, she doesn't land. It goes for step-in 1-2, overextended, and then she gets double-legged and gives up her back to end the second round. Then in the third round, she really does pick it up and looks really good. In the third round, she lands some hooks on the inside. She's able to get the body lock trip takedown. But then back on the feet, she presses forward, gets the clinch against the fence. But then she walks into a head kick at the end of the round. But I thought she had the third round. I thought 1 and 2 was for Maverick all day. But it is what it is. Women's MMA. Then Montana De La Rosa took on Ariana Lipsky her last fight. In the first round, she gets pressed. She eats a jab at range, but then she lands a straight right whenever she gets pressed. Lands a 1-2 to the body. Lands a 1-2, gets a body lock, trip, goes into half guard, and then she transitions to full guard, but lands some nice ground and pound, keeps it busy, cuts her open with some elbows. Really good work there. Second round, she eats a right hook in the pocket, but she eats an uppercut, but she's able to get the double, gets in a full guard again, lands some, and then transitions side control, lands some nasty elbows, works the full mount, and then just gets the TKO with ground and pound. All work there. Really good performance from her. Montana De La Rosa plus 155, Barber minus 180. This is another close one. Montana De La Rosa isn't high level, but neither is Macy Barber. And Miranda Maverick isn't high level either yet. They're still kind of all prospects. You know, I just think there's a ceiling for Macy Barber right now. And, you know, she's young, so she could be making a lot of improvement. But at this price line, I don't like it. I think Montana De La Rosa has a chance. You know, she's finishing fights. Lipsky not the best competition, but she got the finish. I think she'd give Barber a lot of trouble. I think the fight's going to be closer than it needs to be. Either way, honestly. And if it's going to be a close fight, if La Rosa is able to make it a dirty fight, I like the plus money. Plus 150 is a good price. My pick here is Montana De La Rosa. Let's see what happens, you know. Co-main event of the main card at 155 pounds, men's lightweight. You got Clay the Carpenter Guida taking on Claudio Puelles. This is his second fight in UFC. Clay Guida, I don't know what fight it is. It's a lot. Coming off an amazing performance against Santos in the first round, almost gets murdered. He eats a teep to the body, then gets pressed to the cage, eats some hooks and an uppercut, flurry, and then he's able to shoot the single, but he eats some hammer fist, but he's down on that single, holding on for dear life, gets beat up there. Then he gets dropped with the knee to the head. Again, looking for that single leg, doing anything he can do to survive. He's able to get out of there. He presses forward, he lands some hooks, and then gets a double against the fence. And then he does the same thing, but he's able to pick the double off, get a big slam, end the first round with some ground and pound. And, you know, you can tell Santos fell off really hard after this. And then second round, Clay turns it up, presses forward, lands some hooks, and then he's able to get around his back standing, gets a leg in, pulls him down, then he gets both hooks in and gets a rear naked choke submission. That's it, man. Clay Guida, great intensity, great cardio throughout the fight. He's going to be in your face all the time. He might take some shots, not the greatest technique, not the cleanest, but he'll make it dirty, and he'll go, and he's a veteran. He's been there 1,000 times before. Gotta respect that guy. Claudio Puelles took on Chris Grutzmacher his last fight. At the first round, he lands some body kicks from range. He's able to get the single from the pocket, but it's a bad shot. He's able to get it though, but not a good shot. Not going to work against Clay Guida. Then he gets one leg in. Then he lands some ground and pound against the fence, and then he's able to transition to full mount to end the first round. Then in the second round, he shoots a high single, but it gets stuffed. Grutzmacher starting to catch on a little bit, and then he gets reversed. But then back on his feet, he lands a head kick at range. Then in the third round, eats some body shots and a hook against the fence, but he's able to circle out of there. And then he lands some jabs and he shoots a single, but he gets reversed, gets his back taken, and then he gets clinched to the fence, but he gets taken down with the back trip, and then he gets his back taken, eats some ground and pound, but he's able to roll through, and he's able to get a knee bar submission with like maybe a minute left. So I'm not gonna say he got lucky, but you know, he kind of got lucky. I mean, it was all his skill, but it was close. And if he wouldn't have got that knee bar, if Grutzmacher just could have hung in there for a minute and just bailed out of position, you know, I thought he would have lost the fight, but he pulled it out, and it's a pretty impressive win for him. The line, -110 both ways. I like Clay Guida, dude. Puelles did not impress me at all. I'm surprised the line is this even. I think Clay Guida is going to get done. I think he'll pressure him. I think he'll take him down. Clay Guida is not going to get caught in a knee bar. Puelles is not going to be able to take him down. My pick here is Clay Guida. Over 2.5, -210. You know, I don't know. I'm not going to bet that. My pick here is Clay Guida. Just stick with that. Even money, basically. Main event of the evening, 115 pounds, women's strawweight. You got Amanda Lemos taking on Jessica, and what's her name? Jessica Andrade. Forgot her nickname. But anyway, this is for, you know, 115 is a crazy weight class right now. Bate Estaca. That's her nickname. It means pile driver in Portuguese. So, but anyway, yeah, pretty important fight for the division. Amanda Lemos was like number 10. Jessica Andrade is number 1 or number 2, I believe. So, in 115, you know, you just had that great fight with Mackenzie Dern and Teja Torres, so that they're waiting in the wings. And then you have Marina Rodriguez getting one over Wao Jianan, and then you got Carla Esparza and Rose going at it in a few weeks for the title. So this is a building division, and things are moving, and contenders are lining up. So this is a big fight for both ladies. Amanda Lemos took on Angela Hill her last fight. Very good fight, very close fight. Hill might have got robbed. She gets robbed a lot, unfortunately, but great fight. In the first round, she drops her with a front kick to the face almost immediately. Lands some ground and pound, but she gets reversed with a double. Angela Hill was able to grab a leg and get the double leg off of her knees, basically. But Lemos pulls the guillotine, but she doesn't have it, not close to having it. Don't know why she held her for so long. And then back on the feet, she gets rocked with the overhand right, but they both land some hooks in the clinch to end the round. Then in the second round, she lands some hooks on the inside. She's able to get the clinch to the fence, but she gets reversed on the fence, eats some knees to the body, like a lot of knees to the body. Then she eats some hooks on the inside by Hill. Hill's turning it up here. I think it's one apiece at this point. Then in the third round, she lands a front kick to the face, but her kick gets caught and she gets taken down. But she's able to reverse Angela whenever she goes for the back trip. And then she's able to take Angela's back standing, but then she gets reversed again. Angela presses her up against the fence. They break. Then she's able to land a straight right at range, but then she gets dropped with the back, spinning back elbow with like 20 seconds left to go maybe. It's debatable if she got dropped or not. It kind of looks like she blocked her with the shoulder. Anyway, she got pushed down. Not a great look, especially in a fight that close. And Angela Hill, nobody gave her any credit in that fight, and she took her to the brink, and great fight. And then Jessica Andrade took on Cynthia Calvillo her last fight, and that was at 125, so Jessica Andrade is making a return to 115. A little concerning there, but against Cynthia Calvillo, she, has pressure to the fence, keeps Calvillo circling on the outside, and then she comes in, lands a leg kick. She eats a right hook from Calvillo whenever she steps in, but she returns multiple, and she hits hard. Calvillo able to block some of them, but a couple of them getting through. Then she eats some jabs, but she's able to land heavy hooks. She'll take one to give a couple, and then she lands a hook flurry, and then she lands an uppercut in there, which what really hurt Calvillo. And then she just swarms on her and gets a TKO. There's like literally 6 seconds left in the round, so props to her. Calvillo is tough, and Andrade kind of ran through her, man. So, but yeah, anyway, Andrade returning to 115, but I don't know how much that plays a factor into it. I don't think it plays much. She didn't look very big at 125. Jessica Andrade minus 120, or sorry, minus 210, and then Amanda Lemos plus 175. Like I said, this is a huge jump for Amanda Lemos. I mean, they gave her Angela Hill. She really struggled. I think Andrade beats Hill pretty decisively. And too much too soon, in my opinion, man. It's a classic case of that. It seems like, I know the line's pretty wide and it's women's MMA, but this is high-level women's MMA, the highest level you could argue. And I just think Andrade's going to be too much of a test for her. Now, if it goes later on in the rounds, Andrade might have some trouble, but, I mean, she can go at least 3 rounds. We've seen that against Rose. That was a close fight, their second fight. So, the line really sucks, but my pick here is Jessica Andrade. But, if Lemos gets it done, can't say I'm surprised. It's women's MMA, and, maybe Amanda Lemos got a lot better. Who knows? But I think Jessica Andrade is going to do some damage. All right, guys, that's my predictions for UFC Vegas 52. I appreciate everybody riding with me. Sorry about the bad performance on the pay-per-view. Bounced back a little bit last weekend, and I'm kind of taking more shots at the underdogs, and I'm not really concerned if I lose too much anymore. I know I'm trying to pick every fight perfectly, but it really sucks whenever you lose on the big favorite just because you really think they can win. Sometimes you just got to take a shot in the dog, and if you lose, you lose. I feel better losing on the underdog, but, I want to get back to the perfect record, or close to it as possible. But it's also about making money, and these fight night cards recently, a lot of unknown fighters I don't know much about, people making their debut, so it's a little tough. But anyway, I appreciate everybody. Follow me, ask me questions. Leave a comment down below, ask me anything you want, or give me advice. Lord knows I need it. Check my Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, all that stuff in the description. I'll do a post-fight recap. You can get in touch with me there. I might tweet out some stuff, some last-minute parlays. But I appreciate it. This should be a fun fight card. I think we'll see some violence here. I think we'll see some fun fights. We'll see some fight of the nights. We'll see some knockouts. It should be fun, man. Not the greatest card in the world, but I'm here for it. It should be fun. Romanov should be fun. VANNATA should be a fun fight. They're always a fun fight. And then Charles Jourdain, I think he's the guy to watch in that weight class. And then, Jessica Andrade is a powerhouse. Always fun watching her fight. And then also, you got Bellator on Friday. You got Rafael Stotts taking on Juan Archuleta. That's a great fight. So, anyway, appreciate it, guys. Let's see some violence. Let's see some underdogs win. And let's see some money.